This is going to be a quick tutorial video on how to create basic localized text for your Arma Reforger mod. So first things first, what you want to do is you want to create a language folder. Now that you have your language folder, you want to go to the editors, and then you want to go to string editor. Then you create a new one, and then you're going to go select the language folder that you just created. And for the sake of this tutorial, I'll just name it test and then underscore, localization. Alright. Now, typically that's the proper naming convention. Usually, you do like, I guess like the name of your mod or whatever, and then underscore localization. Don't have to do that, but that's proper naming convention for these things. So then after you name it, hit OK. Now it has been successfully created. And there you go. But it is not properly in the game yet. So what you want to do is you want to go to options, all the way to widget manager. Typically the arrow would be closed, so you want to open that up, and then eventually you go to the string tables. And as you can see, we have the base game's string table. So we want to add our own. So we go here, localized, and here's our new string table. Hit OK. There it is. OK. Now your string table is ready to go. Now, for the sake of this video and this example, I will overwrite a jacket model and put in a test name to just show it off. But localized text can be used for pretty much any sort of text in the entire game. Alright, so here's my BDU jacket that I will be overwriting the text for. So for the BDU jacket, the localized text will be located in the inventory, the universal inventory storage component. However, for other components, it could be like in other components, like for example, let me show off the characters quickly. If I wanted to do a different name for a character, that would be here in the editable character component, right here with the name. We will just focus on this jacket because that's what my plan was going to be. So yeah, what I wanted to do is I'm going to copy this original code, this original string, and then paste it into this Google slideshow that I prepared. I typically like to use a Google slideshow to have all my localized text first because it's a good way to back it up, just in case if anything goes wrong with the mod and you have to like restart and put all those localized text back in. Well, this is not a requirement. It's just something I like to do. But yeah, now that you have the original string from the game, we want to change it up to fit our needs. So I'm going to change the BDU parts to test. Also, this AR at the beginning stands for Arma Reforger. You can change it to whatever you want, like maybe your name as a mod creator, or maybe even what the mod is about. Pretty much you can do anything, but I'm just going to leave it as AR just because. Now after that, we want to create the actual localized text. So I'm going to start off with the English one. So I'm going to say test jacket. Also right here, I have a bunch of flag images, and this is a good way to remind me all the languages that are supported in the game so far, and also like the exact order that it's going to be in the actual string editor. So right, you see you got English first, and then French, Italian, and it keeps going. So right now we're starting off with the English one. Now we're going to do French. I'm going to copy that. And I typically use two translating applications. I use a thing called Reverso. What I like about this is that it gives you context in the text you're translating. So for example, my test jacket, you can see the context and stuff where it actually gets all the translated text. Or if it doesn't work, I usually use Google Translate. Google Translate has more languages that are supported. Also, I typically use this for like names. Like for example, for this test jacket, I would typically use Google Translate, but I think Reverso might work for the whole thing, so I'm going to just use Reverso until it doesn't work. So yeah. Okay, so now you see we run into the problem. For German right here, it's not translating to German. So this is why I typically use Google Translate for the names. Alright, now I have all the translated text ready to go. So now I'm going to go back to the game and open up that string table that we created. And now what I usually like to do is I have to like I like to have both of these open in the same time, so that way I will copy the string. One important thing to know is that this hashtag sign / number sign, you don't include that when you're inserting it as a string here. This is just used for the activation, I guess, of the localized text. I don't know what the proper term is, but that's pretty much what it is. So yeah. After that, you will copy all the names in the proper locations. Alright, now I have all the copied localized text. So, what the next step is to do is to go to table and then build runtime table. After that, you can just exit out and save it. Typically, also what I like to do is I like to immediately open it back up just to make sure all the text actually properly saved. And as you can see, we're good to go now. So now, let's go add that test text to the actual name. I'm gonna go back here and just copy the full name again. Paste it here. There we go. Now we have the localized text on this jacket. So let's go in the game and go check it out. Alright, so now that we are in the game, we can go check out our localized text. So right here, as you can see, the BDU jacket has now been replaced with the test jacket name. And if we change the language, we can see that it's still the brand new text. That's pretty much all you need to know for localized text, but some important key things to note actually while I'm here is that you can change, okay, first of all, you can change the name of pretty much everything, including groups. You couldn't rename groups for a long time, but with a recent update, you finally were able to rename groups with localized text, so that's good. And something important to note that's actually really important to know is that when it comes to localized text, typically with the gear and stuff, if you don't want to do localized text for that, you don't have to. But when it comes to assets like this that are part of the entity browser, it is really important to actually have localized text. You don't have to do all the languages, just English or whatever language you want will do. And if you do that method, it'll just show the localized text for the only language you did, and then for the other ones, it'll just show the string text. But I typically like to do all the languages because it just looks nicer in the end. Well, yes, the important thing to know is that with localized text, when you do like, for example, if I was to change this rifle squad to rifle squad test, then like just typing it in purely, it will not show up in the filter when I search it up. But if I do it through localized text, it will show up when I search it up, even if I only do one language. And that's pretty much the important things to know about localized text. So hopefully this video helped in understanding how localized text works in the game.